Good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on Tuesday, the 18th of January. Morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm well, and how are you?
Yeah, no, pretty good, although a little bit disappointed, I think, although not surprised to hear that PDAC, probably the biggest mining conference in the world that was due to happen in March, beginning of March in Toronto, has been cancelled. Well, not cancelled, but delayed until June. But I'm not sure how many people will go in June. And I believe also that actually the big conference in Melbourne has also been effectively cancelled because they haven't even given a date of when it's going to be. So these big conferences are unfortunately not getting going again in 2022, are they?
This is really disappointing for me too. This in particular with PDAC, and you have to say the mayor of Toronto is going to be absolutely devastated with this too because of the impact that PDAC spending has on downtown business during that first half, end of February and first half of March. Bottom line too is, as you say, there would be fewer geologists, I think, show up for PDAC in June because that's drilling season. So the drillers, they'll be out drilling with these better metal prices as opposed to attending conventions, I think. So we'll see how it plays out, but it's disappointing for me.
Having said that, the weather in Toronto is a lot nicer in June than it is in March. So maybe that's an attraction. Whereas, of course, mining in Darba has moved from February in Cape Town to May in Cape Town, where the weather won't be quite so good. Not that we go to these conferences for weather at all. No. We go for business.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, talking of business, let's turn a few bits of news out today. Let's start with Atlantic Lithium, which, just keeps on giving and giving with better and better drill results. They've got some pretty good drill results again today. There's no questions out in my mind, but we'll obviously hear from you, Paul. Atlantic Lithium is going to become a producing lithium mine.
And well, not just a producing mine, but a big producing mine is what I would say. And I would also say, too, that with these kind of results coming out here, if you remember that Atlantic Lithium has a partner in Ewoyaa with Piedmont Lithium, the TSX-listed outfit, which has delivery contracts on the line now with Elon Musk's Tesla, and specifically to fill the new Texas battery plant, which is already in construction. Now, the North Carolina projects, which were intended to fulfill that initial feed into Texas, are running into some local opposition. So the more likely that there is some delay to North Carolina startup, the more likely that Atlantic Lithium's project will try to move faster in order to fulfill those commitments. So we still have 22,000 meters of assays yet to report here on infill and step-out drilling that have already been completed in drilling. These results today from 4,800 meters of drilling, and more of the same, very thick and very nice grades in the spodumene.
How quickly could they put a mine together here, Paul?
I think Ghana, it depends on how much or how complex a plant has to be in order to go to concentrates. And then again, what the speed of delivery from the government to allow the permits. But given the location of this deposit and the fact that grid power runs across the property and it's so close to port, this could be in production, in my opinion, on a 2-year timescale.
Yeah, I thought I should probably just ring up Vincent and ask him, really, or maybe he'll ring me up now that he heard me on the podcast and tell me. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Caledonian Mining have actually put out some incredible record production gold results, but this stock's now more of a sort of a US retail stock than a UK stock. But what are your thoughts here, Paul?
Well, it's also a company that continues to overachieve given its geographic position with its operations in Zimbabwe, and the fact that it has continuously had good relationships with the government such that they are allowed to expatriate their revenues, and the revenues keep growing and the gold production keeps growing too. They've been a very good operator operationally. So these latest results out today, they beat guidance on the year, even revised guidance they had beaten for production. They think for this year, they're going to achieve even more ounces. So The story here is just always better so far than what people have been expecting from it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, has to be said. Also, news from Griffin Mining, which is a strange one. It's the only Chinese mining stock that I know on the UK market. Obviously, they've been had a few had to have a few pauses for things like the Beijing Winter Olympics, but they've actually come out with some pretty good production results today, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They reported their full year 2021 production with zinc concentrate production up 28% over the prior year of 2020, and the zinc prices were up over 40%. So the numbers are, when the financials come out on this, because the lower smelter treatment charges that they experienced as well would mean that the margins are wider as far as total profits should. So we're going to see some real good financials when this comes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good company, but it's not widely followed, and the stock actually has come up quite significantly. It's now trading about 85p, and it's off today. I think it's suffering really from sort of what I describe as geopolitical issues, and maybe people can't quite see what the end game is here of a Chinese mining company listed on London. It's a shame because it is actually a very good company, exceptionally well run. Okay, what else, Paul?
Also to mention, AIM quoted Ariana Resources, which is the Turkish gold silver miner. They also came out with production results above guidance for the Kızıltepe operation there in Turkey. So the shareholders for Ariana are going to be pleased with that as well, though they did experience a somewhat lower gold and silver prices on a year-on-year basis, but still the growth that we've seen or are seeing as far as the extending the mine life at Kızıltepe from press releases this year would suggest that there's yet good news for shareholders for quite a while yet here.
All right. Anything else?
And just to mention that Rio Tinto put out their Q4 and full year production results, and they are a little bit weaker across their commodities as far as volumes of output is concerned. They also, when they announced their Jadar lithium borate project development go ahead here a few weeks ago for that lithium and borates mine in Serbia, they have disclosed here in this press release that because of delays from the government in getting environmental permit and assessments completed, that the first output for the year or for first production is delayed now by a year to no earlier than 2027.
2027 is a long way out in this market, Paul.
Yes, it sure is. It's a $2.4 billion project. So big mine to be developed there. So a lot of work yet to do.
Yeah. All right, let's call it a day there, and we'll speak again tomorrow. Thanks, Paul.
See you then.